We're the Mississippi Municipal League. We're a private association that represents 295 cities across the state, and we're here for our annual conference with the municipal elected officials here in Biloxi. The number one issue for our members is street, water and sewer infrastructure. They don't have the needed funds to make the kind of improvements they would like to make, so that's a concern for almost every member here. Well, currently, we're looking for new sources of revenue because our cities have basically two main sources, property tax and the sales tax diversion that they get. 77% of all sales tax that's collected by the state comes from a city or a town, but they're only diverted back 18.5% of that. So we'd like to see that return to the early 1992 levels of 20.5%.
It's always streets, roads, drainage, water, wastewater. Those are your issues right there. Most of the people that live in a municipality, what they see is if you have drainage issues, if you have litter issues, debris issues, and of course if your streets are falling apart. That's what the public sees, and you try to take care of those.
If you don't have a good road structure, you can't have businesses come into town and expect to be able to operate their businesses with safety.
Everybody thinks of roads as infrastructure, but it's also the pipes and things that make cities work and function well. And it's the unsung heroes a lot of times are our public works folks and people who do not only the construction but the maintenance as well. And it's critical, particularly as you said, for economic development. You got to get people to your town, and you got to have a road that's presentable. You have to have utilities that work and are reliable. So it's critical when you're putting your best foot forward.
All cities, big and small, particularly I know from Greenville, from Belmont to Biloxi, from Clarksdale to Coahoma, from Goshen to Greenville, we're all facing infrastructure issues, potholes. And when you talk about infrastructure, you're looking at not only what's on the top of the street, but you're looking at what's on the bottom of the street, drainage and water and sewer. And so we're looking for our legislature to come up with some comprehensive infrastructure plan, because transportation and economic development go hand in hand, and we can have better roads and better streets and better bridges. We can have better transportation and better economics for our cities and towns.
20 years ago, we were able to do approximately 26 miles of roadway, asphalted all the streets in the city of Hazelhurst. We just looked at getting a bond for $1.4 million, and it only actually covered 3.6 miles. It's a big difference than the cost 20 years ago of stuff, and of course, when you pay for something over a 20-year period and it only lasts 15 years, you're already behind the eight ball.
The major things that we're struggling with are water, wastewater, and our road surface needs as far as infrastructure. A lot of time spent on storm drainage also, particularly around the state highways that crisscross through our towns. We're having trouble keeping those maintained, and the state does not have funding to help maintain those either. So storm drainage is becoming more of an issue, but primarily we're focused on water and wastewater.
Our infrastructure needs are very critical. Right now, we are mainly an agriculture community, so definitely our infrastructure is very much needed, and to boost our economy, we definitely need that.
I come from a small town with about 1,100 people, and about 20 years ago we did a citywide paving project, and those streets now are in dire need of paving again. And a small town like us, it's hard to come up with the needed monies. We've obviously sent bills to the state legislature to try to help with that, and to no avail so far. We're hoping something will happen in the near future, but we haven't received much help in that form. 20 years ago, it cost me $800,000 to pave my entire city. Now, just to do some trouble spots will cost me $400,000. So, and to do the entire town like we did 20 years ago would probably be $2.5, close to $3 million.
All of the needs in the Mississippi Delta, they're growing. And it's getting quite alarming about especially the sewer infrastructure. Everyone's needing those type of federal dollars to come in, and they're not available. So what we're doing in our area is coming up with innovative ways to tackle these problems systematically by certain communities. So we're doing urban renewal dollars to help solve some of these problems, new bonding capacities for the cities. So we're trying to do it incrementally without tapping into the federal government side.
We're a small community like most communities in Mississippi, and we always have needs with our public works departments, and we're always needing something to change, to support what we have. And sewer and water is always number one probably on that list.
Infrastructure is nothing different from any community. All our municipal government and county government needs infrastructure, and we need funding. The government does not provide enough resources for us, so what we need is funding, and so that we can protect our tax base. So I've encouraged the governor, the speaker, and the lieutenant governor, call a special session and come forward with a great economic development and infrastructure plan that will allow us to create some revenue so that we can begin to rebuild our infrastructure.
Tell us about an infrastructure breakdown that you had in Vicksburg and how that affected people.
Well, we lost our water, and when you lose water, you lose your city because of the fact that water affects everything. And we was about to lose about 2 weeks of water resources, and we was able to go in, but that was because of a old 100-year pipe that burst. But now that we was able to go in and do it, so we need to be able to replace that. So I've gone to Washington, I've gone to the state to ask them to allow us to have resources so that we can begin to replace those old infrastructure.
In terms of attracting new businesses to the community and infrastructure, anytime you have safe roads and highways, clean roads and highways, and in general just keeping your city looking nice, new people will come, more people will come to your city. When you increase the population in your city, then more businesses come to the city. You bring more economic development opportunities because more people mean more money for the businesses.
We are a town that is in bad trouble because of our lack of finances. Our infrastructure is in bad shape at every turn. We're dependent on the county to pave roads, which makes for a whole bad situation in itself. But most of the sewer, you could be a history of sewers getting down in our sewers for the different kind of product. Goes back to cast iron to everything in the world. So we keep moving it along. That's all that counts.
Our sewage system is old. Most of it haven't been redone during my lifetime, and I'm 65 years old. So it definitely needs a repair, update to my sewage system. I got some pumping stations that's breaking down every day. We spend a lot of money just trying to keep up repair. So
Southwest Mississippi is an area that has been neglected in respect to industrial and economic growth. So that's one of our major deficiencies. One of our big projects that we're working on that can open the door is I-14. Using the 84 corridor, have it designated as the I-14 corridor, and currently there's a bill in Congress at the moment to get that designation for both Mississippi, Louisiana. There's already a section in Texas that has been designated as I-14. That interstate can help to spin off economic growth and prosperity for Southwest Mississippi and other areas across the southern part of the state of Mississippi, all the way over to Laurel, Mississippi.
We're also very concerned about internet sales tax. We know that with the Supreme Court decision overturning the South Dakota Wayfair ruling and that internet sales tax will be available, we're anxious to see if we can have that treated just as regular sales tax is, because Main Street merchants are paying that sales tax, supporting their community. 18.5% of that goes back to the cities, and we really feel like 18.5% of any internet sales tax collected from a city should be diverted the same way.
How vital is that for cities and the businesses that operate in them?
Very vital. We have seen that traditional sales tax is flat because of retail. So we're anxious to see that internet sales tax is included to help level off that and support our communities. So we'll be very involved in any special session that might be called, and we think that might happen this fall.
It's very important. Right now it's a use tax, and the state receives all of it, and we're asking for a diversion back to the municipalities. This will help us because we know that the retail, where you have retail stores and so forth, they call it the brick and mortar system that we live by today. More and more people are going to the internet to shop for their goods and services. So we need that tax back to us in a diversion that will help us with our infrastructure.
I would just like for MML to get a win when it comes to affording the towns and the cities and the villages more tax revenue that comes into our cities and towns.
How important is that sales tax revenue coming from the internet to brick and mortar stores and to local government?
Well, when it comes to that, when more folks are buying things on the internet, the brick and mortar town sales taxes is decreasing, so we've got to get a win somewhere so that we can continue to operate.
How vital is sales tax revenue to cities?
For the small towns, it's very vital because that's the only means we have of getting money. So we need that sales tax revenue to come in, and we need it to come in strong.
I think it's important to all of our cities, and hopefully with the state determining how that's going to come about, that it's going to help us shore up where we've been having a lot of losses, and not only help the cities and counties at the local level for their tax revenue that has been lost through internet sales that have gone on, but also level the playing field for our brick and mortar retailers who are here in our communities that are paying taxes, that are sponsoring ball leagues, that are very involved in our community, and they're competing against folks who they're not from this state, they're from somewhere else. And so I think this helps the competitive nature of it, but in reality the return of some of the tax revenue to our municipalities will help us deal with these infrastructure challenges.
We clearly know that the internet process for ordering and purchasing products and things of this nature has taken a toll on the brick and mortar businesses. And so it's going to be important to cities that depend quite a bit on revenue from sales taxes to be able to recoup some of those funds to help us build the infrastructure, make our towns better. So this ruling by the Supreme Court is a step in the right direction now at the local level, meaning the state level. And of course at the local level, we've got to try to work out a way to make this work for everybody that's involved.
I think it would do a lot of good. Obviously, over the last few years, internet sales has really hurt our brick and mortar stores and has hurt our budget. So we feel very strongly, and I've been working with the National League of Cities to try to get this done through Congress for a number of years to try to pass internet sales tax and then sharing it like it should be with our municipalities. I just think that the state needs to go ahead and provide us with the same percentage of sales tax on the internet sales as they do with the brick and mortar stores, and that would help us tremendously because we're really strained to meet our needs, and obviously our budgets are reducing because of the fact that we're losing sales to the internet every day.
How vital is sales tax revenue to maintaining services for cities?
Well, it's very important to us. About 65% of our budget comes from sales tax. And obviously, the more sales tax we get, the better we can provide those services to the citizens that they deserve to have, improve the quality of life, which is what they expect us to do. And by having good sales tax, we're able to do that without having to raise the ad valorem tax. Property tax hurts everybody. Hurts the businesses because they have to charge more. It hurts the homeowners because they're paying more, obviously, in taxes every year. But sales tax is spread out, and it's a better source of providing the income we need.
We as cities have been fighting for a larger percentage of the sales tax diversion from the state. Unfortunately, we haven't been as successful as we would like to be with that. And so now that we have the internet sales tax that has been levied on internet sales, we hope that the state would see the feasibility in sharing more sales tax revenue with the cities.
I think it will affect a lot. I mean, in this day and age, internet is the way that people are shopping, and I think the sales tax will increase tremendously, and we are looking forward to it.
Will that help your locally owned businesses?
Yes, I think it will.
I think it's really important that municipalities get involved in that and that we know what impact it's going to have on us. Right now, I think it's really the money will be mandated from a state level. I think it's important that our municipalities are really getting a part of that, a piece of that pie. So things like MML, it's really important that we understand and learn what the legislative agenda is for us so that we can get involved in those types of ordeals.
As a business owner myself and an alderwoman, I think that that would be a wonderful thing to happen because it would help us as business owners to keep people there, keep their business there in our communities, and also give us the sales tax that we need to support our community also.
Oh, that would be an economic boost for our community, and it will be much needed so that we can improve our streets, our infrastructure, and everything that we need.
The Mississippi Municipal League offers a variety of education. We want to make sure that we offer topics that would appeal to everybody. And at this conference, we have 67 sessions for them to choose from. The topics are a wide variety from things like cybersecurity for municipalities to infrastructure issues. We've added a municipal court class so they can know how to run that a little bit better in their towns. And so we try to offer something that helps them better their community.
As you have elected officials that come on that are new, I'm still learning. I've been an elected official a long time, but I'm always open to the new ideas and opportunities. But the classes that they teach here, as far as economic development, the infrastructure, just following the rules that we have to, that are mandated on us. But these classes are very educational that the MML puts together and the committee puts together.
I've been coming to the conference for 7 years, 6 years as a mayor, my 6th term, and once as an alderman, and it's very valuable for informing individuals of basic statutory requirements, rules, laws, and regulations. So it's very important.
Tell me, what are you trying to learn here today that you can take back home?
Well, the things I'm trying to learn today have to do with the legal changes, the changes that have been adopted effective July 1 of this year going forward is mostly what I'm interested in today.
I actually served on the city council in Oxford for 4 years before becoming mayor. I've now been the mayor for a year. This is the end of my first year, and I came to MML as a council member and now as a mayor, and it's just enlightening to, number one, get to learn from folks who are doing the same thing that you're doing all over the state. It is inspiring to sit at tables with folks who are dealing with similar issues and hear how they're solving those issues.
I'm my 2nd year in mayor, and this professional development is key to learning the job and to bettering my community.
What did you come here to learn to take back home?
I'm trying to grow my community, most definitely, and learning those basic core values and steps in planning and the vision of growing a community.
I'm actually a newbie. I've been in office going on 4 months now, so this is my first experience down here.
What have you learned so far?
Well, there's a lot to learn, a lot more than you think. You would just thinking when you get elected that, this is going to be a breeze, but there's a lot of laws to learn, a lot of background, a lot of history, things like that come into those decisions you make.
How helpful have been these educational sessions?
Oh, so far what I'm seeing is tremendous. It's the kind of stuff you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yes, I'm a new elected alderman, and I came because I wanted to learn so much about what's going on in my town. So I wanted to come and learn.
What have you learned so far?
I've learned about budgeting, and I've learned about how to keep your community, growing and planning. I learned a lot about that, and taxes. I learned a lot about that.
I'm newly elected. I'm with the town of Mount Olive, and I'm here to learn how we can help revitalize our community.
What did you come here to pick up so you can take back home?
Different ideas on how we can engage people in our community to help build a stronger community.
A CMO graduate, and that means that I graduated the basics, and now I'm in advance, and this is going into my 16th year with the Municipal League and being a municipal officer.
What have you learned so far in all those years?
I've learned a lot of the basic things such as community development. There's so much, to learn that there's always something new every year that you come. So just all the knowledge that you can gain, it's a lot.
The message was, what we've got to do as Mississippians, and particularly at the local level, in terms of combating the opioid epidemic that we are currently facing in our state and in our country. I hope that the message today has revealed how serious this problem is, and it's not just the opioid epidemic, but what we're seeing is an increase in all illicit drug use in every community around our state. But helping the locals understand, what they can do to help be a part of the solution is a very important thing, and I hope that message was strongly delivered today.
And what can you do individually to help with the problem? What I'm going to tell you is go home, look in your bathroom, look in your medicine cabinet, and if you got unused prescription medications, get rid of them. Here's the reason. There's a new fad going around our high schools now. It's called Skittle parties. And our kids are going into mom and dad's bathroom, they're going into grandma, grandpa's bathroom, and they're taking 1 or 2 pills out of a prescription bottle, and they do that over a couple of days, and then on the weekend they show up and everybody dumps their pills in one big bowl. And they have no idea if they're getting Viagra, Cialis, hydrocodone, blood pressure medicine. They have no idea. But those kids are reaching in that bowl and grabbing a couple of pills and popping them in their mouth and chasing it with alcohol. All because somebody didn't get rid of their prescription pain pills or their unused prescription medications. So that's how you can help us individually. The other thing I'm going to tell you real quick in closing is we've got an effort out there right now to make prescription drop boxes available to more Mississippians so they have a way to get rid of their drugs instead of flushing them down the commode. Because all that is putting those drugs back in the water system. And so I would encourage you as city leaders to have conversations with your chiefs of police and inquire about the possibility of acquiring a drop box to put in the police department. All the police department's going to have to do is periodically go out there and empty the box, put it in their evidence vault, and then they can bring it to MBN at some point at their choosing, and we'll throw it in the incinerator and burn it up so nobody gets a chance to use that stuff or possibly get addicted. I hope that through this morning, you might have learned a few things that you didn't know before you came in this room. And I hope that the numbers and the statistics that I've given you have been sobering to you, because I'm telling you, they are sobering to me on a daily basis. And so far this year, through the end of May, we've had 101 Mississippians die. And that's 101 too many from this particular disease. We got other problems we have to deal with from a medical perspective in our state, but losing our kids and losing our loved ones and losing our neighbors to accidental drug overdose is one that we can do something about, and we have to. But take this information, go back into your communities, don't sit on it, because it is going to take every single Mississippian doing their part for us to be able to successfully overcome the epidemic that we face. It is an absolute privilege, an absolute pleasure, and an honor to have had the opportunity to speak to you this morning. I thank you for that honor. Mr. President, I appreciate your friendship for all these years. To the incoming president, congratulations and best of luck to you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of y'all's MML conference for this week. Thank you.
Be proactive, particularly when it comes to the opioid epidemic and all illicit drugs for that matter. One of the things we're trying to push is drug take-back opportunities, particularly when it comes to prescription medications, and encouraging them to look at ways that they can offer drug take-back for the convenience of the citizens of a municipality. We're trying to get drop boxes available for police departments and sheriff's departments all across the state, so folks can drop off their unused medications, and what that does is just keep those drugs out of the hands of kids or off the streets.
We had a great opportunity. It's been a great year, and we got a few things done. We got some bills killed. We didn't get all the bills we wanted to at the legislature passed, but we did have a good year. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Glenn Barlow to come forward. I want to present the gavel to the next president of the MML. Thank you. Yes, sir.
My remarks this morning would just be that I have had a host of folks that have supported me. I look back and I see those past presidents that have gone before, and they have been such a support in telling us how to operate and how to come through. As Les said, the staff is so important to each one of us and to everyone in this room because they put such an effort out to make things go smoothly, and they do. And then as we go on, I have to thank the Lord Jesus Christ because He's been a part of my life all my life, and He gives me the ability to do the things that I've done. Then I look out at all of you. And every one of you are here for a reason because you want to support your towns and your communities. And you can make a difference by continuing to work and to study and to serve. And I thank you for that. We will have a good year. We'll continue to work that has been started before us, and we'll continue it on. And we thank you that you're here to make that happen.
Local government is the government closest to the people. They're the ones who provide everything for our citizens, public safety, water and sewer, streets, parks, rec, and they're in the trenches. And so they're the ones who work hard every day, 24/7 in some cases, to provide services for citizens. And we're working hard to provide education and training and more financial resources to them.
Your reaction to everything that you've seen over the several days of the conference?
We've had a great conference. We have a record number of municipal officials here. We expect to have about a total of 2,500 folks by the time everything kicks off. And so it's been exciting, and we've seen a lot of new officials here that were elected last year, and they're trying to learn and be educated and be better servants.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
They can go to our website at mmlonline.com, or they can call our office at 601-353-5854.